Hey y'all, I am gonna wait a second for some people to pop on, and I'm gonna tag some people. Let me see. Tag those team members. I would be so happy to chat with you guys. And we're gonna talk all things onboarding our team members and finding success. So as you're popping on, tell me how long you've been with Cincy and what your experience is with sponsoring. How much experience do you have? How many new team members? Maybe you already have new team members. Maybe you've never sponsored before. I want to know what your experience has been like so far until I get started. I'll get started in just like 1 minute. I hope that you guys are super excited for May. We have just the most amazing join special that absolutely has the potential to fundamentally change your business. So know that we work for the most amazing company, that we have the most amazing CEOs and president, and they always have our best interest at heart, and that we are just so blessed by this company. We totally are. All right, y'all. So we are going to talk about onboarding your new team members. And I've been doing this almost 6 years now, and I have done a lot of different things. And I found things that really worked. I found things that were a really bad idea. And I feel like you're always perfecting your craft. But the number one thing that I need you guys to know is that these people, when they first join, that is when they have the most momentum. That is when they are so excited. And that is when you need to jump on and figure out exactly what it is that they want from this business. But at the same time, because we are so excited, sometimes we word vomit everything at one time to them. And we know, most people know, and science tells you that somebody who's overwhelmed will do nothing. Okay? And that's something that I used to do. I used to overwhelm my people. And ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Because if they have all of the knowledge in the world, but they're frozen because they don't even know what to do, that's not going to help you. But if they are just so excited, even though they don't know everything, that's going to be contagious. And that's what you're going to be able to hone in on. So my biggest advice to start with is don't tell them everything at once. Okay? And then when it comes to onboarding your team members, you need some sort of system that you can hold yourself accountable to. And I'll share with you what I do. And the reason why I say that is because you want everything that you do in your business to be duplicatable. Because you want to be able to do whatever you're doing in your business for your team for one person versus 100 people. And if what you're doing is too difficult or too hands-on and you're not teaching them to be independent from you from the get-go, you will burn yourself out and nobody will want your job. And one of your number one jobs when it comes to sponsoring, if you want to grow wealth in this business, is to make your team want your job. Make your team want your job. Okay? And you're not going to make them want your job by running around with this like a squirrel and not knowing what in the world's going on, right? So, and you're never going to remember every single thing. And like right now, I've sponsored 3 people already this month. It's the 3rd. I'm not going to remember who I told what if I'm not keeping up with it. So have a system for it, and I'll share with you what I do. Now, the next thing that you want to do, as soon as they hit join, guys, you need to be welcoming them to your team. Welcome them to your team. Tell them how excited you are. Like, you need to amp them up because they are nervous. They are scared for the most part. They don't know what they're doing. And our job is to build excitement and to build belief, because we need to build belief in them because we know what this business can do if they decide to work, but they don't know that. they don't have a clue what's on the other side of this business if they decide to actually work it as a business. So build belief in them, okay? And then you need to get their why, because I firmly believe that you need to train somebody who just wants to join to buy from themselves and somebody who wants to build a big business and build potential income differently, because you can overtrain somebody who just wants to buy from themselves. You can train them right out of your team and right out of this company to where they don't even buy from us anymore if you're pushing something on them that is not what they want. So when I say get their why, I also suggest getting their financial goal. So is their financial goal or what would you be? So I would say, how much money would make you excited from earning or from this business? How much money a month? They may say $50 a month. They may say $500 a month. You don't know what they're going to say. And they may have to think about it, and they may not really know what to say, but at least if they give you a number and you have that conversation, you kind of know where to go from there. Because if they have a financial goal of earning $600 or more a month, you know you need to start training them to sell 2,000 PRV and get some team members right away. If they just want to earn 20% back on their purchases, you can train them differently. And you never want to discount somebody, though, just because somebody says that they only want to buy from themselves. That's why I joined. So don't push someone away, but make sure that you're not pushing them at the same time. You're going to learn the fine line between it. Okay? So after you get their why and their financial goal, don't go and tell them all of the different things. The most important thing that you can do is help them launch their business. I know that Corona and COVID, or whatever you want to call it, is still going crazy, but that's no excuse. Everybody needs to launch their business. Some people are launching their businesses in homes. Some people are doing them on Facebook. Some people are doing text parties. I don't care what they do, but they need to do some type of launch party, because that is going to set them up for success, and that is going to tell all of their friends that they're taking this seriously. Now, if they're just wanting to buy from themselves and they don't want to throw a launch party, obviously you can't make them. But I do believe that as the sponsor, it is your job to help them throw that launch. That doesn't mean you have to be there if they do a home party, but that does mean that you need to help them. For me, what I do, I offer my people a Facebook launch party. I set up their group. I have a template in Visly. They send me their launch link. I have all the stuff in there. They invite their people. I help them craft a message to send to invite their people. And then I'm pretty hands off. I tell them then it is their job to go into that party and get their people excited and to answer those questions or whatever. And if somebody asks her a question in that party that she doesn't know, text me. Let me give you the answer so you can educate them. Because it doesn't do her as a new consultant any good if I just go in that party and answer those questions. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, well, that's not very simple. It's simple because at the beginning of every catalog season, I create my own Facebook party, and I also create a launch party. Done for the season. All I have to do is fill in people's information when they give it to me and when they join. I set up their group. I use Visly because that makes my life simple. And whatever simple is to you, okay? So launching their business. Something else that I always suggest for them to do is to open their kit live on Facebook. I know that scares people. Nothing grows from comfort zones. Have them open their kit. I don't care that it's the $20 kit. They're getting way more than $20 worth of stuff. They can, even if they're just joining as a kidnapper or just wanting to buy from themselves, they can still do that, guys. They can still open it and say, hey, I joined on the $20 join kit. I'm going to be able to get 20 to 30% back for the rest of the year. I'm super excited. I even got this warmer and these testers, blah, blah, blah. And if you can, have them tell you when they're going to go live. It shouldn't take longer than 15 minutes, guys. and be on there with them. Help build excitement. Tell them to tag their friends. I also tell my people, if you have a best friend, a mom, a sister, whoever, tell them what time you're getting on. Have them jump on with you, and then maybe they'll feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay? Something that I think is really, really important for you guys to know, especially when it comes to this month in the Join Special, our consultants that are joining on this Join Special do not get a hard copy of the new consultant hand guide or the product training guide. Obviously, they're in the workstation. They're gonna be in an email to them, but I think it is very important for you to know that as the sponsor, because that's something that I am going to take my time to personally go and get the link from the workstation and send it to them and say, a lot of your questions are going to be answered in this new consultant hand guide. This product training guide is going to be your Scentsy Bible for all of the questions that people are going to have about how long things last, questions that you're going to have. Trust me, Chastity has hers right here. I literally have, it's right here because I was using it today. Because when I do reels, when I do stories, I have this baby right here. Because, I mean, this is important. I buy one of these every single catalog switch. If they want one that is hard copy, they can go on their workstation and buy one from the consultant store for like $2. They can print it out, whatever it is they want to do. That's important. Now, something else that I want you guys to realize is that you're gonna, if you ever go out and search in the Scentsy world for systems for training your new team members, there are gonna be so many different things that you're gonna get overwhelmed and you're not gonna know what to do and you're gonna freeze. The most important thing is to help them reach that shooting star goal first. Have them reach that shooting star goal. The only thing that they need to do in the first 15 days is build that list of 100, go through their first things first checklist, launch their business, and try to earn shooting star. If they're doing that, everything else is going to come afterwards. Because if I'm telling them about everything else under the sun, they're just going to freeze because they're not going to know what to do. Now, I think it's important for you to know as the sponsor what they get from Scentsy. Oh, this is what I was going to say about things that you can find. I know that when Patty and I both joined, there were not anything like this on the workstation that you could even try and search for when we first joined. So that is why you're going to see so many consultants that have created other things to reference, because there was nothing out there when we joined. Right now, though, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and some people may not like this. Right now, in 2021, if you don't know something, ignorance is a choice. You can literally YouTube or Google anything in the world. Literally. You can Google or YouTube it. I'm not saying be ugly to your new team members, but I'm saying that ignorance is a choice in 2021. Us not knowing some of this stuff 5-6 years ago, there wasn't anywhere to search to find it. So it's super important for you to know what they're getting. You can go, and I printed this out for this training, you can go to the workstation and you can get a copy of that first things first checklist. Patty and I never had this. No, we never had that. So, but now I can't say, well, I don't know what Scentsy's sending them. Yes, you can. Make the choice to educate yourself on what Scentsy's sending them. Okay? In that, when you go to it on the workstation, you can click on what the videos show them. So there's no reason for you to just blindly teach them that. If you're a brand new sponsor, go through it with them, guys. That's what you should do. Okay? There's tons of videos, and this even tells them stuff. Now, this first things first checklist, guys, it does go into learn how we get paid and stuff like that. Because they do need to set up their pay portal and things, but they don't need to know everything. They don't need to know everything right away. If you're a brand new sponsor and you really don't know what to do, that's okay, guys. Somebody that just joined today can sponsor somebody. They can learn together, because I can promise you that Patty and I both get asked questions all the time that we don't know the answer to. You don't need to know everything. And the second that you feel like you know everything, you probably need to sit back down. Because there's always something to be learned, and there's always something that you could be doing better as a leader if you're a self-reflective leader. So the new sponsor checklist is right here. you can keep it super simple by going through what Cincy says is a good thing to do when you are a new sponsor. They're telling you the exact same things that I'm telling you. I'm just telling you, and I'm giving you the advice of, yes, you have this new sponsor checklist. And if you're like me, if I have a checklist, I really need to check it off. I'll write something down that I already did so that I can check it off. I don't know if anybody else is like that. The only issue that I have with this is that there's not a timeline. So I don't want you to see this new consultant new sponsor checklist and go through and feel like you need to tell them all that on day one. Break it down, okay? Okay, so this is what I'm going to share with you guys about the new consultant sessions or checklist or system. You need to decide what works for you. You need to also ask your new team member how they learn best, because everybody has different learning styles, and some people need to see a video of it walked through. Some people want to have all the information and kind of go through it and work through it themselves. Some people, everybody's just a different learning style. So you need to know how they learn best and try your best to accommodate them. However, guys, it is your job as their sponsor to make them independent from you as quickly as possible. It is not your job to be their mama. It is not your job to be a 24-hour Walgreens. You need to teach them how to find whatever it is they're looking for. That's not you being a bitch, and I'm sorry. It's you teaching them to be a business owner, because there's a lot of people or a lot of leaders in Cincy that answer their team members as soon as they text them, that tell them exactly the answer when they ask. And like I said at the beginning of this video, you want to do for one what you can do for 100. And you can't text 100 people back when they're asking you questions that can clearly be found in the news tab or on the workstation. So you can say, if someone's saying, when does Baby Yoda release? Tell them where to go to find that information, because they're going to remember that versus you just telling them the answer. Because if you just tell them when Baby Yoda is releasing, then the next time a limited time offer is coming out and they need to know when something's releasing, they're going to go right back to you, because you gave them that positive reinforcement, even though you may have been grumbling in your head. Yeah, y'all absolutely ask questions. So teach them how to find things. That's super, super important, because they're going to come to you and you've got to teach them how to treat you. And if you teach them that you're going to respond at midnight, they're going to keep texting you at midnight. So make sure that you're setting those boundaries. And that's another training for another day. But let me talk to you about what systems I use to train my new team members. I am a superstar director, so I am a director of my own team. So anybody who joins my team, whether it's somebody that I personally sponsored or someone in my downline without a director in between us personally sponsored, they get a welcome email from me. I would communicate with your director on what they send, so then you're not sending the same things over and over. And some directors don't send something to everybody. I keep everything simple in my business. So the email I send out, it says, hey, I'm Chastity. I'm either your sponsor or your director. And I reference that a couple times because I'm not making two separate emails for people that I personally sponsor or people that join in my downline. But I want to make sure that everybody feels welcome when they join. Okay, so keep it simple. They get a welcome email from me. They're getting training from Cincy. They have their first things first checklist. But as their sponsor, you need to be their go-to person. I've talked already about those things. There are a couple different things that I am kind of playing with and deciding what I want to do. The first thing is how I keep up with who I've talked to about what. I used to use one sheet, and it had all of my new consultants. So it would just like list it, and it was faced this way, and it just had like little check boxes. That still works great for me if I wanted to do it that way. But what I found is that I kind of wanted just a whole sheet. So that way, like if I'm talking with her, I can make some notes over to the side, and I'm not having like random Post-it notes around my office. It's just on one paper. I'll share this with you. And this, for me, I'm very much a teacher. So I have it broken down by like sessions, and it'll my session 1 to 2 days after enrollment. Not only does this help me train them, it holds me accountable, and it also is going to help hold them accountable, because after I kind of go through those things with them, I give them homework per se, and I ask them to announce on social media if they need help coming up with something to say. Let me know. I can help you come up with something. I tell them, this is when I send them the link to read the new consultant hand guide, read the personal training guide, personally reach out to your Franks list, making a list of your people and stuff. Those are all in there. And then I'm not going to read everything to you, because I'll share this with you guys. And you guys can kind of tweak it the way you want to. That is something that I do for my personally sponsored people, and then I share this with my team. Something else that I do, there's a group called the Wax Boss Launch Group. That is a public group that a bunch of consultants created, and it has social media posts and tasks to do for the first 15 days of their business, with very good examples. That's a public group that anybody can join. So I invite them to that and tell them to join that. I also have a guide in my team page that's like the 30 days to certified. It gives them specific tasks. Okay. And then this last thing that I am doing, I'm going to be honest, I loved the idea of it, but I'm finding a lot of technical difficulties with it. So it's called Project Broadcast, where it sends out automated text messages based on a campaign. And I spent a lot of time creating this new consultant campaign in there that sends them a text, and it's like, I'm super proud of it. However, with services like that, and like spam stuff, what's been happening is sometimes the texts get kicked back as spam, and it's not like, it won't tell me, but it's telling Project Broadcast. And like, I thought my messages were sending, and then come to find out they weren't, and like the carrier blocked that phone number. So we have to be super intentional with it that way, and make sure that that's going to keep going through there. Now, if you are a brand new sponsor, you're joining this business to make money, you never, ever, 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 ever spend family money on Scentsy. You spend Scentsy money on family. So choose, if you want to use a paid service, choose one thing first, and then see how that's going to work for you. Don't go and buy all these different services and just do all of the different things because you hear people talk about it. Visly is honestly the one that I suggest everybody start with first, because it's very user friendly, it's cheap, and Visly even has the ability to schedule email campaigns and text campaigns. So if I hadn't have spent so much time setting up my Project Broadcast, I probably would just flip on right back over, but I spent a lot of time, so I'm going to fight through it with that. But the one thing I do want to share about onboarding with Project Broadcast is I'm really proud of it, and I really like it because I took the time to be very, very, very specific about every single thing I wanted to say, and I broke it down into separate days and separate text messages. And I wanted to make sure that even the wording that I said was super, super consistent. And that way, for instance, when we go to Disney World in June, if I get a brand new consultant, I mean, I'm going to be honest, homie, like, I will train you when I get home. but I'm spending my vacation with my family. You're going to get some automated text from Project Broadcast. You've got the training center. You've got our team page. You're going to get some emails. You want to make sure that your business can still run and not be a slave to your phone. So another thing about Visly, like, yes, it may take a little while to set up that template, but then you're done. And it's so simple to just keep running it, if that makes sense. And one of the last things that I want to talk about is, for someone who is joining this business to make income, their first paycheck that they make can make or break their experience. Meaning, if you can help them find success in their first month and they're really blown away and they're super excited and they're doing something that they didn't think that they could be successful at, that first paycheck is going to be so great for them. And like I said, the best time to get them to start working is when they first join and they're excited. But they're not going to be excited if they just get overloaded with information. I have 12 videos on my YouTube channel about the new consultant videos. They're still great videos. And I do still reference those, but not during the first 15 days. After the first 15 days, you're going to kind of see where your people are. Because pretty much for me, the first 15 days are going to be very, very similar for everybody. I'm going to encourage even the people that are only joining to buy from themselves to earn Shooting Star so that they can get that kit if they want to. Because sometimes people like me, I joined for myself. I got certified in the first month. That paycheck was pretty nice, and I stuck around because I found belief in the business. Does anybody have any questions for me? There's nothing off limits, I promise. Something I want to leave you with, if you don't have any questions, I'm obviously going to wait and see if you do. Do not let someone else's success or disappointments into your heart. I don't mean success. I don't mean like, I do want you have a hand in their success, but if somebody is not successful because they're not putting in the work, that's not your fault. You're going to have people eventually that join your team and sell $0 and then ignore you for the rest of the time. Like, I've had it happen multiple times. So don't find value in whether or not someone's willing to work. And when I said before about teach them where to find things, you want to create leaders, not leeches. You want to create leaders, not leeches. You don't want them to leech onto you. You want them to be able to go and fly on their own. And what that means is, if somebody's complaining that they're not finding success, give them an activity to complete and come back to you with that completed and proving that they completed it. And I know that sounds really crazy, but the teacher in me, I need some text evidence, boo. You're saying that you're reaching out to all these people. Let me see some screenshots. Let's talk about how you're doing it. Like, and that's not me being crazy. That's me saying, like, let's see how you're approaching these conversations. Maybe I can help you. But you're going to get people that make excuses and don't do the work and then want to blame you or blame Cincy, and that's just not true. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you didn't help them find success, because at the end of the day, they signed an independent consultant agreement, and everything that we do for them is because we care and because we want them to be successful. And now on the workstation and with YouTube in 2021, they don't have to have you. If somebody wants to be successful and they have a really shitty sponsor, they can go out and find a way to be successful. So know that. That doesn't mean you're not going to train your people, but that is what it is. How do you know if someone without... So are you asking, how do you ask them, like, to join without being pushy? Is that what you're asking? I've never used ScentShare before, so I honestly could not really tell you about it. The only thing I don't like about Visly is there's not an app, but they've really updated their mobile access on my phone. So I like Visly. I really like it. And I did a lot of research before I decided to go with that one. And I like that one because you can share templates with your team and stuff. Meredith, I do not teach anymore. I actually retired from teaching, but I taught for 11 years. I taught 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. Okay, so Jennifer, what Jennifer asked was, when someone joins and you reach out and they say they'll get with you when they have time, do you message them again? Do you wait? I feel bad because this person joined and hasn't reached back out. So, I mean, that's honestly going to depend on your relationship. You obviously don't want to be pushy. And if you've reached out and like they've joined and you've given them that information, what I would do is definitely reach out again and say, hey, I'm not trying to be pushy. I'm not trying to do anything. I just want to make sure that you feel supported. When is a good time that we could chat for just a few minutes? Ask them what might work for them. And then like there are some people who join and really don't want your help. And that's okay too. Some people just want to be a part of the team page and look at it through the workstation. But I feel like you're going to be able to tell, like you're not going to want to push somebody to have to talk to you, but you want to make sure that you know, or that they know that you're there and you're asking them if they need help or if they need support for them, not for you. And I think as long as you're doing that and like telling them I'm here to help you and you're not talking about it being self-serving, I think that that'll be perfect. Obviously, I totally get like the being busy and not having time during the week. Some people may want to chat on a Saturday morning. So you just kind of have to meet people where they are, but what also works for you. Don't be a slave to them. Also, I promise I'm almost done. If you have a bunch of people that join within the same couple of days, within the same month, like I've had 3 people join, I am going to train them together as much as possible. So I'm going to text all 3 of them and see when they have some time that we can hop on a Zoom or like a group FaceTime real quick. So I am saving my energy and not saying the exact same thing to those 3 people. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Okay, so if they were a consultant before and they're scared to rejoin, I would ask them when they were a consultant before. And I would ask them what their experience was like with their team. Because a lot of times people have left because they either didn't connect with their sponsor or they felt like they had no support. Because believe it or not, there are people that don't have team pages, that don't have the culture like we do. And they needed that and they wanted that. So I would ask them what their experience was like. And then the reason why I said ask them when they were a consultant is because things have changed like whoa. I mean, just even in the last year. Think about the consultant cancellation policy being updated. So there's lots of things. I would definitely, I always say don't make people feel pressured, because for me, if I feel pressured, I'm just going to freeze and walk away and ignore you because I don't like to feel pressured. So you really just kind of have to build relationships with those people. And something that I kind of do like on the sly, if I know someone's interested or I know something like a specific pain point is holding them back, like they're worried about staying active, I'll go on my stories and talk about that. Not specifically to them. I'll talk about a couple other things like myths about 2 truths and a lie, or things you didn't know about being a Scentsy consultant, or saying like something else you could do on your stories or whatever. If you have like a couple different things you want to talk about, because you don't want that person to feel like you're just doing it for like to point them out. So definitely like try and come up with some other stuff, but do the feel, felt, found method. And say, like, I felt the same. So let's say they said they don't feel like they're going to have time. You can say, I completely understand. I felt that way too. But what I found is that I could work my business sitting on the toilet, hiding from children, peeing, and still find success. That's what I found, right? So you feel, felt, found. You want to make sure that you're empathizing with their feelings, and don't tell them you felt that way if you didn't. You can use somebody else as an example, but using that type of stuff is what's going to give them the information. But at the same time, you don't want to beg somebody. We have an opportunity that people are laying in bed at night praying for. People are praying for what we have. And you have an amazing gift to offer someone. And you don't ever want to beg somebody if they don't want to be a part of that blessing. You just keep shining your light. You just keep doing it for the right reasons. And just keep building a relationship with them. And they're either going to come around or they're not. You know what I mean? Does anybody have any other questions for me? But yeah, somebody asked if I was going to share the checklist. Yes, absolutely. I will absolutely share that. Please do not feel like you need to know everything. You don't. Do not feel like you're not ready. Nobody's ready. You're never going to be ready. You got to stop waiting to get ready and just do it. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you don't ask those people to join, I'm going to ask them, or Patty's going to ask them, or somebody else is going to ask them, because we're going to make it rain blessings in 2021, y'all. All right? If y'all have any more questions, I will be happy to answer them. I will get with Patty and share with her all the things, and I love y'all. Have a good night.